So this is a video that, quite honestly, I've been avoiding for the longest time. But on the 1-year anniversary of this channel's first upload, I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna duck and dodge this anymore, I'm gonna do it big. This is by far the most requested NASCAR busts video on this channel to date. So here it is, folks, NASCAR bust, Danica Patrick. So let's get into it. Before we get into NASCAR, we first have to get into INDYCAR. Obviously, everyone knows she was absolutely horrible when it comes to NASCAR, but INDYCAR is a much different story. In fact, she was actually pretty good, and I know a lot of you aren't going to admit that, but that's the truth. Don't believe me? Just listen to INDYCAR expert David Land.
Like most modern racing drivers, Danica Patrick's career began in go-karts. Her opportunity in cars would have to come across the pond, racing Formula Fords in Europe and Great Britain. But her big break would come in 2002 when she was signed to race for Bobby Rahal's team, the 1986 Indianapolis 500 winner. She would race for the team in the Barber Dodge Pro Series as well as the CART Toyota Atlantic Championship. By 2005, Rahal decided she was ready for the big time, moving her up to the IRL INDYCAR Series team alongside defending Indianapolis 500 winner Buddy Rice and Vitor Meira. Patrick would become an overnight sensation at that year's Indianapolis 500, dueling in the last 10 laps of the race with eventual winner Dan Wheldon. And although Patrick finished 4th in the race, she instantly became the face of the series, as much of the marketing and promotion of the series suddenly became centered around her. In 2007, Patrick would make the jump to Andretti Green Racing, which was at the time considered the best team in INDYCAR racing. And the next year, she would finally deliver on her promise, winning her first race and becoming the first female to win a major open-wheel race in Motegi, Japan. However, this victory would go down as her only one in INDYCAR competition, as Patrick struggled to find success in the post-Champ Car Indy Racing League merger, which featured strong competition from drivers such as Will Power and Graham Rahal. Add to this that Patrick fell prey to a flirtation that afflicted many open-wheel drivers in this era, the fame and fortune of NASCAR racing. Her final full INDYCAR season was 2011, and of course you may remember this year's Indianapolis 500 as her final open-wheel race, where she unfortunately ended in the wall. That being said, by no means could Danica Patrick in any logical capacity be considered an INDYCAR bust. She will never be remembered as one of the all-time great drivers in INDYCAR racing, but she was a genuinely fast driver and a threat to win on a weekly basis for a couple of years. And that's more than most people can say that have strapped into one of these cars. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for her NASCAR career.
When Danica Patrick announced she would race in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, it was going to be on a part-time basis. And it wasn't for some field filler team, it was with arguably the best team in all of the Nationwide Series, Junior Motorsports, which is owned by the most popular driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Despite not having any sort of experience racing in stock cars, there was some optimism here, at least for me, that she would do somewhat well. Well, that was quickly squandered away.
Up here against the wall, up here against the wall, he's against the wall, against the wall, against the wall.
I thought she did a good job, but just nowhere to go. I mean,
yeah,
not
just
so much
that's all that you can do. He's just hoping.
Yeah, he does turn down just a little bit, but they're going into the corner, so he has to make the arc. And you see the rubbered up part right there on the bottom of the racetrack. That's where he was going, and it looks like she was trying to beat him to the punch.
She got real high in 3 and 4. Probably not sure exactly what's going on, and then bam, there goes the tire. God, that's a pretty hard lift. Definitely put her out.
Yeah, the last few laps should have been even higher and higher, and that tire was probably going down somewhat, and then just lets go as that loads up coming out of 4.
Well, obviously it blew.
Yeah, it blew.
Somebody got in the back of James Busher, looks like maybe Carmichael, and then just forced him, Busher, into the 7, and then it just, man, it all breaks loose.
Let's see what happens here, guys.
They just got up in.
That was a hard hit.
Well, that's just the last lap of a race. You can see Mike Wallace kind of got separated. He tried to block and pick up a little bit of air. He and Danica got together, and then that just created a big mess.
I hate seeing that many good race cars getting torn up.
You it, guys. Just get tires on it, crew it quick.
See, he's trying to make that wide arc, but the car just a little too loose to make that happen.
Yeah, that's more than just slight contact right there. She's got some bent parts.
She would have a combined 3 top 10s in her 2 seasons running part-time. Usually we're right around done with some of these bus series videos, but no, not this one. We're not even close. So Danica Patrick decided she would go full-time in the Nationwide Series in 2012, as well as doing a part-time schedule in the Cup Series. And once again, it's not with some field filler team, it is with one of the top teams in Stewart-Haas. Man, it just goes to show that having money and popularity can get you in any sort of Cup Series ride. Doesn't mean you're gonna do good though.
Yeah, watch the run these drivers get that are lined up. Here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. right there in the 88. Watch Bernie in the 31. Here we go. Oh,
and she's all right after a hard crash, and the caution flag is out.
Seen a lot of tandem drafting, seen a lot of pack racing, and about every caution we've seen, at least the last couple anyway, has been bump drafting gone wrong.
Yeah, and right there, Danica was realized she got hit behind pretty hard, too hard at that part of the racetrack, but she also will learn a lesson from that. She had the opportunity just to turn it left and lock it down. Probably wouldn't have been much damage, just get 4 tires.
Can 88 hit me when we're in a big pack?
Yeah, he wrecked the shit out of you there.
Mother, what the is he thinking?
Ooh, just got a little tap in the back end.
I believe that might have been Elliott Sadler in 33.
Elliott Sadler gave him just a little tap. Right here's what I was talking about. Watch Danica. Right there, she gets some damage, but then watch her go down. Jimmy's car's total, but watch her right here. Right between those 2 cars.
Right on you, inside easy.
What the hell do they do that for? Like, I'm 5 laps down.
And if that wasn't bad enough, then things just started to get weird.
Thought you were mad at me.
Oh, no. How could I be mad at you? You're too cute.
I'm greedy. I want to keep everything I can till the end. I hate to have to key up the mic and tell you that I don't have enough.
I thought that you had an endless supply.
No, I wish.
Oh, my sources are wrong then.
The top 2 spots, California's trouble, Danica Patrick. And another car out behind her, Brad Sweet.
See, he doesn't touch. I don't think they make contact, but he still
Come on.
helped her around. It's down there on the bottom.
You know, you and I talked about this. That lower car just flat gets loose. This is something that happens all the time, but this tire is so hard to stand this new track. She just lost it getting in there.
That's her fault.
Yeah.
Brad Sweet didn't do anything there, anything wrong.
Oh boy, I smell disaster here.
Look out.
Wow.
Oh, he takes her out.
Come on.
Unbelievable.
Into the gravel trap.
Unbelievable.
That's it.
Hell no.
Michael Annette also down there.
There you go. Keep it going.
She's going to get out of the gravel trap.
Trouble 15, Jeffrey Earnhardt.
Danica. And more.
Half back here. Inside. That's it. Got into a wreck there.
Big move on the start, but you could kind of tell that he wasn't going to have that, and it just locked up the brakes. Looked like he had a lot of rear brake in the car.
That is someone's shoe. And then here comes Danica. And bam, drop kicks it. Looks like there's no serious damage.
Something's wrong with my steering.
That is the 59 of Kyle Kelly turning Danica.
Gonna be a little contact here. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's real unfortunate. She did have a an incredible race going to be on the lead lap at 435 lap.
Danica was running in the 19th position.
Right there. Roll the bottom if you can.
Not quite clear.
There's no place for Brad to go. He scrapes the wall as well, but it looks like he was able to go on.
Castle going for a slide.
Okay, we did not hit anything. Did not hit anything. Well, rule number one of stock car racing is learn how to wreck someone without wrecking yourself.
Danica Patrick into the wall, spinning back down into traffic. And Richard Childress Racing comes to a close at Phoenix. He slides to the finish line while they crash behind him. Keselowski threads the needle as cars crash to the checkered flag.
I don't understand why they didn't throw the caution there.
Her 2012 Xfinity stats are this: 0 wins, 0 top 5s, 4 top 10s, a pole, an average finish of 18.8, and would finish 10th in the standings. Her 2012 part-time stats in the Cup Series, it's literally 0 across the board, and with an average finish of 28.3. So after having all of those inept runs in her part-time stint in the Cup Series in 2012, Stewart-Haas decided, you're ready for the big time. Let's move you up to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. It seemed like things might be taking a turn for the better. She would go on to win the 2013 Daytona 500 pole, as well as being the first female to lead a lap in the Daytona 500. Take a good look, because we are never going to see this for the rest of the video. What was soon to follow would be 5 years of, I don't even really know how to describe it, sadness or ineptitude. I don't know, just take a look.
She and her Stewart-Haas teammate Ryan Newman, now both those cars pretty well destroyed with right front tire issues.
But Darrell pointed out earlier, it's almost like their cars were driving similar. Obviously, both of them had the same problems. You can see it right here. Just dead in the middle of turn 4, the car just goes straight.
It's under Kenny Schrader right here, and Kenny just really pinches her down, and Danica spins the car out to stay off of Schrader.
Yeah, she was as low on the racetrack as she could go.
Whoa, what a view. Looking back.
And Mike, she said her car is consistent at both ends of the racetrack. She also told crew chief Tony Gibson, it's amazing how some cars move over, but nobody wants to move over. For me, specifically, she's upset with David Gilliland in the 38.
Tries to take me home. Tries to take me home every time. So smarter that I'm coming after him if he does it again. In fact, I might just do it right now.
We'll be fine. Just everybody calm down. We got a good car. We'll pass him back.
Car got a little, you saw it, Larry. The back end stepped out just a little bit. She caught the thing, and then it shot up the hill into the wall.
And the reason there's so much damage is it hit right rear, right front, right rear.
Yes.
Well, let's ride with Danica.
Still 3 middle. Clear high, clear high.
Here's Danica.
I was
It's
flat before
already.
she got there. She got there. Yeah, I was getting ready to say she got there and started to turn in. It never even turned in to get down to the corner.
Making a move.
Oh,
Trouble
somebody
behind
turned
her.
Danica.
Danica and others. Jimmy Johnson gets the win at Daytona.
Yeah, she got turned right there.
Let's see. Did Danica turn him?
Wow. They just got all hooked together there.
Yeah,
I
that's
couldn't
been an
tell from that
interesting
angle.
dinner.
Yeah, they were just. It's hard to tell from that angle.
I just have to be consistent. I'm not the fastest car, but as long as I don't screw up, it's not easy for people to catch me.
Danica Patrick around. Coleman gets a piece of it. Oh, and others begin to slip and slide.
That dumb I'm going to kill her. Ran out of talent again. Unreal.
Just made a kind of an erratic move, and the car just jumped out from under.
Well, very similar to what happened to Kyle Busch on the first lap of practice yesterday morning, although he was able to just maybe hit the side more than the front. But the car just got loose as she tried to turn down in the corner.
Still lined up outside. 3 wide middle. Still 3 middle.
Looked like maybe Eric Amarola in the 43 got into the back of Rudeman. Turning around. And boy, it gets narrow right here.
Wow, you're right about Junior.
You see Carl Edwards there in the 99, Matt Kenseth in the 20.
Danica hadn't hit anything, and then her with Danica Patrick.
The longest line. Just that 9 outside you. That's all you got out there. Stay to the bottom. Check up, check up, check. Good job, good job. Back it down, nice and smooth.
Back. Yeah, it's already started there. I think it may have been the 51 and the 10. Danica just gets, she gets loose up off of 2 over there and slams into the side of poor old Parker that he was just going by minding his own business. It is before the 33 comes in there running wide open. Now here's what happened there.
Cole and Danica got together. So he's in the wall.
Danica Patrick is going to come out of her pit stall. Slew it sideways a bit. Whoops.
That's leaving pit road.
That could be an accident.
Yeah.
Broken drive shaft or something. All right, axles.
I mean, it'll roll, but it won't go. What should I do? Should I try and move?
You're okay, and then the wall jumps right there to you.
And it was just minimal damage, and she was trying to get around as quickly as possible and just carried way too much speed into that turn 2.
Phil, the car never turned coming out of the inner loop as it was entering turn 5. It just went straight.
Not sure what that issue was for her. There's another view as Jimmy Johnson rides by.
So got into 14 of Jeff Burton just a little bit there. Turned the wheel to stay off of that.
Yeah, the problem is you need just a little bit of room to save that. You see Danica's middle 3 wide on the outside of Stewart. Hard on the brakes, but still got into it.
Looks like she chopped you. Yep, not getting chopped no more by her.
Just love to go out and take them out.
Go ahead.
See her back there, and here comes Denny. I think Denny dove out from behind her. She didn't realize he had moved out from behind her. She started to go left, and he was there.
Annette tries to go high, and I believe he had a push from behind. And got tangled up in it.
That
was Kenseth.
Oh my gosh! I don't know how he missed that.
And Kyle Larson in 42, just as well.
Reckon. Go low.
Brian Scott, Danica Patrick,
Back it down. Get out of the way right
and Bobby Labonte. Here comes Austin Dillon.
What are you doing?
Danica, I didn't.
Seriously.
I didn't.
You did the same thing in practice.
Honey,
you did the same thing.
I did not.
You get on my left rear and it spins me out. You did the same thing. Tighten what up? Nobody else left me with a problem
Nobody
out there.
has your back like I have. Stop.
I
Listen to me.
So.
Listen
Danny,
to me.
I
But I can't give you an extra 2 feet because
Dude,
it's
you give me nothing. You give me nothing. It spun my back end around.
I understand. It's because you're loose. It's not my problem if you're loose, Danica.
Nobody else did it to me.
Nobody else is getting close to you, but we have to get close to you. To get you going forward, I have to get close to you. I know it got you loose, but I didn't hit you
down, just like in practice.
I understand.
And I looked in my rearview mirror, and you were right here. You weren't here, you were here.
Absolutely. You were loose entering the corner, so you went up the racetrack.
Because you were...
Danica.
It happened twice. The same person, the same way.
But guess what? I didn't hit you either time. I didn't hit you either time.
Well, then apparently you don't have to actually hit me.
Into the turn 1 wall.
Yeah, we saw smoke coming from her car.
It's almost like she maybe cut a tire down.
Caution at lap 135.
Look and listen.
Here, guys. Coming inside you, then you're all good.
Slams the wall over here in turns 3 and 4. Loses control of the car. She'll spin it right down to the entrance of pit road.
88, did he hit me?
Oh, yeah. He said he didn't have any brakes.
Go yourself. I mean, really? Didn't have any brakes. Why would you drive it underneath me?
To be in the top 24, at least have a shot at it, but obviously running into the wall is going to slow you down.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, she went out the second time trying to find some speed, and as we talked about, you know, it's very hard to do. And then, you know, came in after the run, and everybody was disappointed. Turns 3 and 4, goes to accelerate. Car just gets away from her. She has to chase it up the racetrack and ends up with heavy contact.
Danica on the outside of Newman.
And around she goes. Didn't look like there was contact there, but could have been earlier.
Contact the way she turned around quickly. Here comes David Ray, nowhere to go.
She ought to hold the damn brake.
As she comes down, and the 38 stops right in front of her.
Yeah, Danica.
And now they're not going to stop. It's not over.
Danica's upset at Gilliland from early in the race. Remember, the two got together, and Danica tried to pay her back, and pay him back rather. And
probably go to the garage, I'd say.
She got the worst of it.
Trash heap.
We're in grass and 2.
Movement of these cars down the back straight. We see Danica in the 10 right there. There she goes down on the inside. That car really got light. The wheels come off the ground. Roof lid.
Wow.
Push it back down.
That is turf management at its worst right there.
Underneath Casey Kane. Looks like Casey went to go tuck in behind her and just misjudged it. Got into her right rear, turned her into the wall. Hard impact.
Man, right down the straightaway here. Woo.
Oh, trouble.
Around goes Danica Patrick.
That's
Paul
a big
Menard
damage
has
on
to
that left
slide
rear.
to a stop.
She got a lot of damage to the left side of that car.
I just don't think Paul realized she was pitting that early.
And around she goes into Kenseth.
Oh, gosh.
Up in the air and into the wall hard.
Man, Kenseth.
Man, I thought he was going to catch the catch fence back there. The way it landed was...
I am not believing that.
He's fine. Boy, he got the window net down right away out of frustration. The 4 car, Harvick.
Danica climbs out, radio cord.
He's fearful of is making contact with a wall like this. You don't really know how strong his back truly is until he goes through something like this. But we don't want to, and I know he doesn't want to see himself go into an incident. Tony's in a vulnerable position right in the middle. Then Larson gets his outside. Here's 17 to the inside. He gets loose right there.
Oh, man.
I mean, he was going to touch the... He was probably going to touch the wall slightly, but keep it going straight. Danica had nowhere to go.
There we go. Jimmy Johnson got turned, and they pile up behind him.
14:48. I mean, the whole crowd. There's a 10.
Run, tries to go to the center. Make it 3 wide. Danica just didn't have any idea that he was going to do that. Comes up and makes contact.
Yeah, he was trying to go by his 34 car there. He dove under him, but Danica was down below.
42, 19 and 11. Stay easy. Back it down. Stay in the middle.
Right with Danica Patrick.
Second, back it down. Stay low. Inside. 32 on every side.
Oh, boy. Up in the air. Patrick
Danica's
quickly out of her car.
Oh, man, it looked like the 22 just got loose.
I think that...
Oh, man. What a ride that Danica went on.
Danica took a heck of a ride into the wall, and then the 43 just plowed in there.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go. I think he committed to the outside lane.
Oh! No, I get it. That was
Sweetheart. Instead of taking the booing, what I want to tell you is like, I do the very best I can. Yes, you do. I mean, if you're a real fan, you know that I'm not just like, my job is not to only sign autographs, right? My job is to drive the car, to tell the crew chief what's going on. I don't appreciate the booing. It hurts my feelings. I'm a fucking person. You know what I mean? I'm a person too. I have feelings. When you boo me, it hurts my feelings. Okay? Please just be supportive fans. I'll do everything I can. When I came from over here, my car is over there. I only do so much. I have to get in the car. So just please understand that I have feelings too.
Danica, thank you for your hard work. Keep your chin up. You didn't sign on the way out either.
They got a wreck.
Heavy impact to the inside wall by Danica. Oh, he clips Larson. No. Right in front of Danica.
Well, now that was one of those late race situations like we talked about.
Oh, they were 3 wide.
Yeah.
Is that Larson and Dale Earnhardt Jr.?
Yeah.
Forces him into Danica, turns her around.
And that's the caution flag.
And she,
bam.
Man, backs right into
Stenhouse. I'm sure Stenhouse thought she would lock it down and keep it up. But not that you have that much control when your car's out doing what hers is doing. But I know that's what he thought was going to happen.
Right behind her. Both of them way up the racetrack.
Into Danica Patrick at the 10. Caution comes out for the 7th time today. Towed completely in. the smoke's so bad that it looks as though Danica's just going to climb out of that one.
You're all clear to hop out.
Good job by the spotter there to let her know she was clear. No cars coming behind her.
Contact! Elliott slam into the wall.
Are you kidding me? Danica Patrick, Casey Kane.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
You all right?
In her 5 years of full-time Cup Series racing, she had 7 total top 10s. Honestly, this is by far one of the most saddest videos I have ever made. It's sad because had she stayed in INDYCAR, her career would have been much more respectable. She was very competitive during her time in INDYCAR, and that's one part of her career that nobody really wants to talk about. All they really want to talk about is her pitfalls as a stock car driver. Add this to the fact that she wasted her potential in INDYCAR to make more money and gain more fame running horribly in NASCAR, and it's a shame. Danica Patrick could have been a respectable driver in INDYCAR, but forever she will always be known as the biggest bust in NASCAR history. And once again, that'll do it for another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time.